A tense moment caught on our cameras as they were rolling. An SUV pulls up to the state capitol and the person inside allegedly flashes a weapon at the group. Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Jasmine Brooks. Here's what happened just minutes after a peaceful protest at the state capitol came to an end.
Go! You gotta go! You gotta go!
Today's rally was in support of Palestine. For more than 2 hours, the planned protest went on as planned, peaceful. But just as things were wrapping up, a black SUV pulled up and police say the person inside pointed a weapon at protesters. Police soon catch up with the SUV and now confirm they are investigating. That pro-Palestine rally on the Capitol steps in Harrisburg this afternoon had support from dozens of people trying to get their message out.
We're here to speak up for those people because they are being silenced, they are being accused of things that they're not doing, and it is all in the hands of a terrorism called Hamas that is not even Palestinian.
We asked for a response from the local Jewish community tonight, and the president of the Jewish Federation of Greater Harrisburg says he doesn't have a problem with a peaceful protest, but rather the message behind it.
If efforts in Israel among the population from Gaza, if those protests against whatever their problem is with the Israeli government were peaceful, we would be much further along to a two-state solution to peace between both peoples.
Opposing protests were seen clashing last night in State College on Penn State's campus. Student organizers facing off across from one another on College Avenue.
The Palestinian people have been under occupation for 75 years. Since the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, Palestinians have been facing daily oppression at the hands of Israel.
Penn State's president issued a letter to the university community writing, quote, "Our thoughts are with those being impacted by the bloodshed, the innocent lives lost and their loved ones, and the millions of people who are living in fear for their safety." The university has counseling services available for any student in need. An evacuation order by Israel's military of more than 1 million Palestinians from northern Gaza is raising concerns of a worsening humanitarian disaster. CBS News correspondent Willie James Inman has the latest from Washington.
After days of deadly Israeli airstrikes, leaflets rained down on Gaza, telling residents to flee the enclave's south within 24 hours. Ahead of an expected ground invasion, the notice from the Israeli Defense Forces told Gaza City residents not to return until further notice. Thousands of frightened Palestinians followed the directive.
Moving more than 1 million people across a densely populated war zone to a place with no food, water, or accommodation when the entire territory is under siege is extremely dangerous and in some cases simply not possible.
Nearly a week after Hamas's brutal attack on Israel, the IDF showed reporters remains of unidentified victims.
Hundreds of bodies of babies, children. Hamas uses their children and families and civilians as human shields. We don't do that.
Gilly Roman returned to the ransacked kibbutz, where he says his sister and 2 other relatives were kidnapped by Hamas during last Saturday's attack.
Held hostage by the terrorist regime in Gaza.
President Biden spent more than an hour speaking to families of 14 Americans still unaccounted for in Israel. Interviewed by Scott Pelley for this weekend's 60 Minutes, President Biden discussed getting hostages out of Gaza.
I say we're going to do everything in our power to find them, everything in our power. And I'm not going to go into the detail of that, but we're working like hell on it.
There is military personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem working directly with the Israelis to locate the American citizens. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
We have more coverage of Israel at war at CBS21.com, where you can find all of the stories we've been covering so far.